Hello everyone and welcome to Inside Healthcare. Spring is finally here, and if you're one of the millions of people who have seasonal allergies, it means sneezing, congestion, and runny noses. So joining us to talk about seasonal allergies, we're glad to have back with us a local medical expert in this field, and it's Dr. Stephanie Fox. She's an allergist with Health East, so thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, as we're taping right now, there is still snow on the ground. I think they're calling for some rain and stuff. So what does that mean for the seasonal allergies this year? Does it mean we're going to have fewer, less, more? Is it going to come sooner or later? What does that mean?
Well, we are seeing tree pollen present right now. It's you may not see it on the trees, but it is being detected by the pollen counters. So spring has started as far as tree pollen. Tree pollen is the most common pollen we see in the springtime. It might be a slightly shorter allergy season. Last year was extremely long springs, but this year might be a slightly shorter because of the fact that we are still a little bit cold.
Any idea at this point if it's going to be worse or average or mild? Or
I mean, it's hard to know. It depends on how the rest of the year goes and how the temperature will go. We know traditionally over the last 10 years, a recent study just came out that says that our allergy seasons have intensified and are actually increasing by at least 2 weeks, more for the southern climate in the U.S., but we are also seeing that here in Minnesota.
And that's because of?
Probably our warmer climates that we're having right now.
Well, you couldn't tell by the snow on the ground around here and the temperatures. So what are some of the most common symptoms that someone might have, and how do you know if you're developing a cold or if suddenly you've developed allergies?
Well, the symptoms are very similar between colds and with allergies. Allergies typically have runny nose, sneezing, itching, irritated type symptoms. Colds don't always have the irritated type symptoms, the itchy eyes, the itchy throat, those kinds of symptoms. Colds are also self-limited, so 7 to 10 days you should be over a cold. Allergies persist for months, so those are differences. Also, if you're exposed to an allergen, so you're outside all day at a picnic or something like this, you've been outside, you're exposed to all this pollen, you're going to have more symptoms. It's probably not a cold, it's probably more your allergies.
So that would lead into the next question. How can you reduce your exposure? Obviously, you just mentioned not being outside. What would be some other ways that you can reduce your exposure to allergies?
Well, so for pollen allergies, they're mostly outdoor allergies, so keeping your windows shut. Even though we are here in Minnesota, we like to open our windows in spring. Keeping your windows shut spring, summer, and fall, keeping your home nice and allergy-free is important. If you're outside for a long period of time, coming in, change your clothes, take a shower, get all that pollen off of you. Try and make your body as allergy-free as possible.
So what would be some of the tips on making your home allergy-free?
So keeping the window shut is important, air conditioning on. If you have animals, you may not be allergic to the animals, but a lot of the animals go outdoors. So keeping them well groomed when they come inside so that the pollen that's on their skin is not infecting your home. Things like HEPA filters might help with animals. We don't know if they help with environmental allergies, meaning pollen allergies, as much, but they're reasonable to consider as well.
Now, if I've never had seasonal allergies before, can I develop them now?
Yep, we're seeing that definitely happen. We're seeing allergies develop anytime during a person's life. Children are typically hit a little bit harder for some reason than adults right now, but we're seeing adults develop them even later in life.
And once you have them for life, or can they go away just as quickly as they come up?
Allergies do go in peaks and valleys. However, with our intensifying seasons, I'm tending to see less valleys and more peaks. So people typically have them off and on throughout their whole life.
You know, I was just reading something where they were talking about even some of the foods that you eat can reduce these type of seasonal allergies. How is that?
We don't really know the connection as much between food allergy and seasonal allergies. Food allergy is hives, swelling, shortness of breath. So you eat the food, you get those symptoms. Lots of people have intolerances and sensitivities. There's no good testing for those. But you know, if a person has food allergy, they're probably at risk for seasonal allergies as well, because it's all the same immune system that's going awry. So reasonable to think if a person has food allergy that they could also have seasonal allergies awry.
So when should someone go see a doctor versus a specialist like yourself? And or can they just medicate themselves?
You know, it's reasonable if you think, oh, I just have some itchy eyes or sneezing, to try one of the over-the-counter antihistamines or something like that. However, if your symptoms are not controlled after taking a dose or two of those kind of medications, or you suspect there's more going on, meaning these symptoms are interfering with your quality of life, for sure, if there are symptoms such as shortness of breath, wheezing, or coughing that's uncontrollable, probably need to see your doctor or even a specialist. Specialists really come into play when your symptoms are not controlled by the conservative therapies that your doctor has been tried.
And how do you get diagnosed for allergies? And
So there's two ways to diagnose you. You can do a blood test or skin testing. Typically, most allergists run skin testing, but it kind of depends on the patient. Skin testing involves pricking your back with allergens such as tree pollen, grass pollen, things like this that we find in our environment, and looking for a response. We're looking for an itchy mosquito bite to appear at the location we prick their skin. It's relatively painless. Lots of people are afraid of allergy testing, but it's actually quite painless. So it only takes about 15 minutes or so.
And typically, does insurance cover this?
Most insurances do. We always encourage patients to check with their insurance company before they come to us, but for the most part, most insurances cover skin testing for allergies.
And then what would be some of the treatments that are effective, I guess, prescription versus over-the-counter type?
So over-the-counter medications, most of the antihistamines are over-the-counter now, are a reasonable try. Most people aren't controlled by them if they have moderate to severe allergies and maybe need more medication. So nasal sprays are a possibility. There are even some other allergy medication that are possibilities. If you're really uncontrolled or your symptoms are really affecting your quality of life, allergy shots or allergen immunotherapy, which is the other word it goes by, are also possibilities.
And what's that involved? Is that like a weekly thing?
It's a weekly shot for about 6 months, and then you space it out to monthly for about 5 years after that.
And that would be for the most severe cases?
Yeah, the moderate to severe cases, or sometimes people who have asthma. Trying to improve quality of life, it's really a desensitization of the immune system, so it's more the long-term option. It doesn't kick in overnight, but it's a 5-year process, and it really works on the underlying problem.
And there's no shortage of ads and commercials about, you know, different products on the market and that. Without specifically talking about specific brands and that, are there certain things that our viewers should look for effective treatments?
Well, the second generation antihistamines, so longer acting antihistamines, are usually better than some of the short ones in terms of day-to-day therapy. Those tend to work better, but you know, antihistamines work more on itching and irritated symptoms. They don't help as much with nasal congestion. So if that's your main symptom, you may not see relief from the over-the-counter medication.
So just read those labels and see what might work for you best. Do we have any final comments about seasonal allergies this year and what people can do?
So no one needs to be miserable. There's no reason to be suffering with your allergies. There's lots of different treatments for allergies nowadays. They exist from everything from allergy shots to just some medication. So reasonable to seek help if you have problems. Also, if you're having problems with any kind of asthma symptoms, so shortness of breath, cough, or wheeze, guidelines state that anybody who has persistent problems with those kinds of things with their asthma should have allergy evaluation so they know what their triggers are to their asthma. And
if they want some more information or want to schedule an appointment, how do they go about doing that?
They can go to our Health East Allergy Care website. It gives information about where we are located within Health East. Otherwise, our scheduling number is 651-326-1044. Well,
Dr. Stephanie Fox, it's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks so much.
And hopefully everyone has an enjoyable spring with all the seasonal allergies out there. So thank you so much. Still ahead, we're going to be talking about how to help you get in shape before the summer hits. So stay with us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If you're pregnant or have young children and your home was built before 1978, you could be at risk. Learn how to protect your family. To find your home's danger zones, the health effects, or just to find help, log on to leadfreekids.org.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes off the bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers. First pitch is fouled to the back.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Inside Healthcare. Joining us now is Stephanie Skiba, registered dietitian and certified personal fitness trainer. She's with Ways to Wellness at the Woodwinds Health Campus. So thanks, Stephanie, for joining us. I understand you do boot camp, marathon, triathlons, but today you're going to be talking to our viewers about things that they can do without being a marathon trainer or fitness person, and to improve their diet and get them fit and shape for before the Memorial Day weekend in the summer. Yeah. So what would be some of the, let's start off first with diet. What would be some tips that you could share with our viewers?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Diet is 90% of everything. So if you want to change your body, you want to have more energy, you want to complete a marathon, diet is going to be 90% of it. So I'm glad that we're starting with that. I think number one, especially with spring, is going back to the earth. Starting your own garden, growing something at home. If you don't have access to growing a garden, then there's great CSAs, and we're lucky enough to have farmers market. But our bodies can't make certain nutrients, so the earth has given us every nutrient that we need. So we need to spring clean our pantry and start throwing away things that don't have any nutrient value. So how would we find that? I tell my clients, just looking at the ingredients, you don't have to look at calories. It's not about calories. It's first off the quality of your food. If you can't pronounce an ingredient, you probably shouldn't be eating it. And if you could have grown it in your garden, if you could have hunted it, if you could have picked it or fished it, then you can eat it. So we kind of say, going back to
that's good advice.
The caveman diet of just eating from the earth. Could I have grown in my garden, then I can eat it. So Pop-Tart, can't
amazing grow. How good all of that tastes too, you know, when you get it fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done studies of an organic strawberry and a non-organic strawberry, and 10 out of 10 people always prefer that organic going back to the garden. It tastes a lot better, and it's higher nutrient value. So
starting off, cleaning out that pantry and the refrigerator, and then what's the next step?
I would say you should be eating 5 times a day, and if you can eat 5 times a day and have a fruit or vegetable at every meal and snack, then you got 5 in a day, and the recommendations are 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetable. And it's about a fistful, so not a piece of lettuce on a sandwich. That's not going to count. We want a whole fistful, fruit or vegetable or both, because then you would get 5 to 9 servings in.
And also color is important too, isn't it, when you're selecting some of these fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, good point. Every color gives us different nutrients, so we try to eat like the rainbow. A lot of times we just go to baby carrots and apples, convenience, which is great, but if you're eating the same foods, working out the same, your body's going to look the same, and then you're only getting certain nutrients. We need to change it up and eat from the rainbow.
What about, should you end eating earlier in the evening instead of going right up until bedtime? Or is it better to eat certain foods, more protein in the morning versus in the evening? Is there some kind of that works better than other ways?
Yeah, great question. Definitely in the morning, eating more protein. Our standard American diet is a lot of sugar and a lot of carbs. If you are doing cereal and skim milk, that's all sugar. Bagels, muffins, that's all sugar, and that's going to set you up. It's not your willpower if you're craving sugar. You started your day off eating sugar, so it's just like any drug, you crave it the rest of the day. So starting your day off with about 20 grams of protein, which is going to be 3 eggs, so that's a lot. Your biggest meal should be breakfast, and then you start your biggest day with breakfast, and then kind of teeters off. And it doesn't matter if you eat late at night. It's just that people make bad choices late at night. It's the ice cream and pizza, but if you had 10 almonds right before bed, that's not going to create fat. We say like an hour before bedtime just to delay some gastric emptying, but that would go into my fitness tip is I suggest taking a walk after dinner now that it's nice out and the light's out, getting away from TV, getting away from our phones. Your dog will like you, your husband will like you a lot better, but taking that walk will help with digestion, get you more energized, and then less likely to those tempting sweet foods after dinner. And
help you sleep better, which is also a good component if you're trying to get fit, I would believe, as well, right?
Absolutely.
Getting a good night's sleep.
Absolutely, yep. In just 3 days of poor sleep, your body becomes insulin resistant. So you become almost a diabetic in 3 days of poor sleep. So you could do everything that quickly. That's how stressful it is for your body. So you could do perfectly with your diet and nutrition and exercise, but if you're not sleeping and you're not going to stressed out, it's not going to happen. Yep. Yep.
Now, you brought up the good point about if we can go back to sugar. I mean, you're not talking about like adding sugar. You're saying sugar is in a lot of our processed foods.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we think of sugar as, oh, I'm adding it, or I don't eat donuts, I don't eat cookies, but sugar is pretty much in any carb breaks down into sugar. And if we look at the difference between a white sugar, a white piece of bread versus just a whole grain piece of bread, that white sugar turns into sugar faster, so it's going to slow down your metabolism a lot faster. So we need carbs, but we need, again, from the earth carbs of fruits and vegetables.
And it seems like now, too, we have an abundance of Greek yogurt, which I never used to see on the shelves before, and that's a little bit higher in protein. And again, they're not all created equal. Some may contain more sugars than others.
Right, yep. Very trendy now. It is more protein and less sugar. That's just how the Greeks strain it a little bit differently. So going back to your labels, again, it won't matter about calories, but reading the labels, I personally just start off with the ingredients. If you see anything with sucrose or any oses, fructose, maltose in those ingredients, then that means sugar. And then, of course, you could look at the grams of sugar, and the least amount, the better.
I'm surprised at how many products have those in, things that you wouldn't even think.
I know.
You know, it's just amazing.
I know.
So yeah, it's back to that original advice. So if someone were to start today, what should they do? What, like right after this, after they watch this show? So what should they do?
As far as their diet goes, I tell all my clients, you don't have to read a diet book, you don't have to study anything. The internet gives you a lot of misinformation, but it'll always go back to the quality of your food, number one, and then the quantity of your food, number two. So quality of your food, could I have grown in my garden? Could not grow Pop-Tart in my garden, so I should probably not have this. I can't grow goldfish or Cheez-Its, but I can pick an almond. I could grow a fruit or vegetable, so your quality's there. And then moving into quantity. So even though almonds are great and olive oil is great, you can overeat those foods. So I would say quality number one, clean out the pantry. And then quantity, start tracking your foods. There's free apps, there's free online services. I love using MyFitnessPal because it's free, and it also just tracks all your calories for you, and then at the end of the day can show you your protein, carbs, and fats. So if you wanted more help, come see a dietitian so that we can say, oh, you're eating too many carbs, or this is how many of this. Because again, that quality's good, but you can overeat good food.
You know, and I think especially if you're eating out, it's so easy. The portions are so large.
Right.
You know, advice on what would be, you know, what should you have, like if it's a pasta dish or a salad, even salads too. I mean, they're huge.
Yep, salads can be over 1,000 calories. Eating out's tough because they just want you to come back, and how they do that is a lot of fat, a lot of sugar, and a lot of salt, so you get addicted to that food. And we always associate more food as a better value, so more bang for your buck. But then it's 3 times as a person should be eating. So I say if you're going for a white meat, a grilled chicken, a fish, and then there's some sort of fruit or vegetable with clear sauces, avoiding those Alfredos and ranches, then you're on the right track. And if you're doing pasta, your plate should be half vegetables. So our plates are all pasta, and you don't need that many carbs unless you're about to run a marathon. So.
Yeah, I think my downfall is the bread bowl. Like just trying to avoid it because you know, I don't need it, but it sure tastes good.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's not your willpower. It's everyone craves sugar. That's just natural, but you can suggest, you know, can you not bring the bread bowl so you're less tempted, and start off with soup or salad just to get your stomach a little bit more full.
And back to fitness, so you said get out, walk. What would be some other things people can be doing between now and the summer and help them get in shape?
Yeah, I think you don't have to go to the gym to work out, and it shouldn't be another stress. I just tell my clients, you need to do what you love. So if you love riding your bike, if you love playing with your kids, if you love gardening, then that's all exercise. You just need to move. So exercising outside, we are so lucky to have trails and hikes and 10,000 lakes, so you can paddleboard, canoe, swim, and just yard work. I mean, me and my husband, we work hard in our yard, raking and trimming and gardening.
You definitely get a workout.
Yeah.
Or still shoveling snow, you know?
Absolutely, I know.
Yeah. One of these days it'll be gone.
Absolutely. So you don't need a gym membership. You could do anything at home. And even if you are watching your favorite TV show, I say if you did 10 push-ups or 10 sit-ups or 10 squats at every commercial break, let's say by the end of that hour TV show you've done 100 squats. It's better than nothing.
And I've heard other tips like parking your car as far as you can when you're wherever you're going, and so you get those extra steps in there. And other tips and advice that you give your clients?
Absolutely. So that's always helpful, taking the stairs. That's just going to be an active lifestyle. Walking your dog, being outside. Sometimes spring cleaning your playlist. I know I've been really demotivated, and sometimes I just needed a different song or a different playlist. And also your shoes, too. We've been walking throughout the winter, probably racked up 100 miles on our shoes, and you should be changing your shoes for sure every couple months if you've pretty active on those.
We just have a couple more minutes. Just final advice and tips for our viewers and how they can truly get in shape by summer.
Yeah, I think number one is to remember that it's 90%, I mean almost 100% nutrition, so you can't work off an unhealthy diet. Exercise is great, it's great for stress relieving, getting things moving, but that 90% is going to be your nutrition. So again, going back to the garden, quality of your food, and then quantity. Could I have grown in my garden, hunted it, fished it, picked it, then I can eat it. And then always making sure that you're really hydrated. Swap the pop, no diet, no regular. I can't say anything good about either. Your body's 80% water, so we need to just put back in that water. And then as far as
even fruit juices too.
Even fruit juices, yep. That's just straight sugar, so we need to just have black coffee, unsweetened tea, water. That's it. Don't drink your calories. And then as far as movement, just do what you love, be outside, go on hikes, after dinner walks, change up your playlist, and you'll be fine.
And for our viewers that are watching today, I understand that Ways to Wellness is offering a special offer for our viewers if they say that they heard it on the show here.
Yeah, come on in, Ways to Wellness. We're at Health East on the Woodwinds campus, and everyone gets a 30-minute free consult. And everyone that works there is registered dietitians and personal trainers, which is really nice because then we're certified to help you in nutrition and certified in exercise. So you can give us a call or visit our website.
And not as well known as some of the other fitness centers, and you do offer lots of different programs.
Absolutely. Everything from testing your metabolism to personal training. It's very private, so Pilates, group fitness, anything under the sun that we can help you with.
Well, Stephanie, it's always a pleasure to have you with us, too.
Thanks.
So thank you so much for being with us. Great advice.
Oh, thanks.
Get everyone jump-start this spring and get finally get in fit for the summer.
Come on in.
So thank you so much. And we'd like to thank you for joining us, everyone. We hope you'll join us next time on Inside Healthcare. We'll see you then, everyone.
Inside Healthcare. For more information, visit stjohnshospital-mn.org or call 651-326-7800.
Jumping up and down the stairs a few times. I could get my daughter into a 14-year-old young athlete, but her diet. Cracked down on the secret that found their way out of
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Winston, just one more inning, Grandma.
Ever notice how many things today kids can do without actually moving? A whole lot of things their parents used to do the hard way. So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part, which makes exercise even more important for children. In fact, new research tells us the best time to enhance bone development is during childhood and adolescence. And just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Healthy bones come from healthy habits. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.